Greetings, Kairat. Thank you for agreeing to talk with us.
Nikita, hello. Glad to chat.
Let's start like this, Kairat. What's your overall impression of the fight and your emotions?
Excellent impressions, truly delightful emotions. I'm damn glad Peter became champion. It was well deserved. So these are the most joyful emotions.
Watch the fight alone or with company?
No, see, and I watched the fight at home. I see, my family watched separately. I watched in my room discreetly. That's how it is. I always watch fights alone.
Did you send out any hints via WhatsApp or something else?
Yes. My guys and I were in touch. I was writing to them. We tried to call each other, but ended up video calling. And what was happening in the cage? The broadcast lags from 30 to 45 seconds. And overall, in the moment, these tips won't be legitimate anymore. Well, at the moment when they are needed. So we came to the conclusion that I was generally evaluating the round as it progressed, and I understood that the hint should be given 45 seconds before the round ended, or preferably a full minute to allow the cornerman 15 seconds to properly read it.
It should already be with the guys. So accordingly, I'd write and send what I noticed during the round, and I knew all the information had to be with them 45 seconds before the round. That's how it was.
Kairat, before we analyze the fight itself, I was struck by Peter's psychological state. He was completely different at the press conference. He acted differently. He was in a playful mood. He didn't cross any line, like disrespecting his opponent. That is, it was a completely different Peter. What work did you do to prepare him so he wouldn't burn out? You understand, right?
I can't really say that you can do any substantial work with a person. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a trainer.
And all week I've been telling you, I want you to smile. I want you to go there, smile, and truly enjoy every day that you spend there. Now, I always told him that now is the best time. Sparring is over. The hard training is done. All that's left is to cut weight. When the race was over, I said the hardest part is behind you. Now you just need to step into the cage, show your skill. The whole hall, the whole world watching on screens will applaud you. You simply have to show what you can do, what you do best, what you live for, and just demonstrate your mastery. That's all.
Let's start with the first round now. Kairat, the very opening of the fight surprised me, and I just heard Sterling's interview. It also surprised them how Merab began, that he moved with Petr in striking for the first 3 minutes. Did such a start surprise you? How did you think the fight would begin?
Well, honestly, I had two scenarios in mind. I understood the first option. They'd enter a cage, shake hands, and Merab would immediately attack. That was the first scenario I had considered. And the second scenario was that he would work in stand-up.
Which one did you prefer?
To the second?
And why? Why? We all expected. Why so many of us didn't believe in Peter? I'll be honest, I didn't quite believe him fully. We thought he'd get into trouble again and just keep going, keep going, keep going. Why were you so sure he'd stay strong?
Well, let's just strictly turn to the statistics. Over his last 3 fights, even 4, or yes, even 5 bouts, he pretty much completely outstruck all of those opponents in the stand-up. He outstruck O'Malley twice, and he landed some good shots on Sandhagen. He even managed to rock Sandhagen. Overall, he consistently lands very heavy blows. I wouldn't necessarily say that he is a high-class, super technical fighter. No, he's not technical, but he is a really tough fighter. He's very well-rounded, and he continuously works on improving his skills. Plus, he possesses a truly powerful punch, and he has demonstrated this on numerous occasions. He landed many blows on his opponents. Yes, he couldn't finish them with knockdowns or TKO, but he consistently lands his punches, and with every single fight, he grows more confident in his skills, more confident in his overall stance. So I believe he already thought he would go out and perform, which is essentially what occurred.
The fight's dynamic shifted as it completely turned around. When Petr landed that right hand around the 3rd minute. I wasn't quite sure if it was a hit to the nose or a bit lower. Where exactly did that punch come from, Kairat? Because it seemed Merab was feeling good and he was landing shots. But Petr immediately resolved the situation.
What do you mean, from where did it come? From the handheld unit? That's where he threw it in. Well, he aimed it very carefully. He was looking for the right moment. Yes, he spent a lot of time on reconnaissance.
I asked him to start it, to start working from the second minute, or to give him a maximum of 1.5 minutes to move around, no more. He only started working from the third minute, but still, it was hard to get a beat on him because Merab is very quick. He moves great around the cage, breaks distance, maintains it.
Peter found the perfect moment, delivered a precise strike, and how?
The result was either a cut opened or bleeding occurred. The camera didn't show it. I wasn't near the cage, so I can't say what happened, but there was definitely a hit.
Yes. Kairat, weren't you worried about that first entry? He held him for a minute and 22 seconds, a hold longer than any in their first fight. Weren't you worried Peter couldn't break his hold for so long?
That was in the second round, right?
This is the first round. After he hit, he went to wrap.
Yes, that he got past, went behind him. Yes, I think he couldn't. He got behind his back. No, honestly, I wasn't worried there because I saw that Petr was generally controlling his hands. He was controlling his wrist, and he wasn't letting him get into a drag. Wasn't letting him drag himself down. Wasn't letting him get off balance. Yes, the position there isn't the most advantageous, but if you pay attention at the end. At the very end of this round, at the end of this episode, Petr landed several heavy blows to his forearms, and it turns out in the fight pass.
With elbows, yes. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
In the battle pass, when you actually pay attention, this was shown.
But in the broadcast for Russians, this wasn't seen on Match TV. Usually less here because they fill the time with ads. And when Merab was walking, he began to massage his hand. That is, when the round ended, he massaged his hand and started shaking it. So at that moment, Petr inflicted, I don't think, any real damage, but still slightly bothered his hands.
And I think that also yielded results because on several occasions he landed powerful, heavy blows on him.
Listen, Kairat, this is a really cool moment because I was surprised during the broadcast. It was the first time I saw a grip defended like that by hitting the forearm. Was that your plan, or did he improvise?
No, it's not a grand scheme. There were 5 or 6 such plays that we had prepared. 2 of them worked out quite well, even 3. But there were several more that he didn't demonstrate. Well, it was quite interesting. Now, I hope this spreads to many RealC tutorials. It'll be interesting.
Kairat, what other forks worked out, if I may ask?
Damn, Nikita, this is my bread and butter. I'm like, if this works in a fight, I'll definitely show and tell them how cool it was. This is from what we haven't used yet. And what did work? That's the left hand, left leg. We trained many body shots. We knew that,
to stop a machine like that is not enough to just throw things into the cabin. You need to hit the body directly. So the hole took some good hits. This is an investment and, a good investment for the future.
Kairat, in the first fight, Merab had slightly injured Peter's calf. This was in the first round with a low kick. Weren't you afraid this time that he would make Peter change his stance because of that?
No, we understood he would try to hit. Pause. He could still use what worked for him in the previous bout to show us, pause. We prepared for this. We knew he'd kick sometimes. They looked at 3 or 4 defensive options there as well. And one of them, you could say, was a kind of tricky move. Yes, he didn't land punches there often enough to really show it, but he was prepared for it. And in the first fight, honestly, he simply didn't even anticipate that punch. And this strike is so insidious, you take it once and there should be a follow-up. If you take such a leg strike, you must either meet it or grab the leg. So there should be a follow-up since the distance was closed, but it didn't happen. And your opponent scores points and hurts you. But by the 3rd, 4th strike, it happens very fast when your leg is shut down. And for many, it's not natural to fight, for example, in an opposite stance. Some can't work at all as a southpaw. And here, accordingly, the fight can be conceded.
Kairat, when did you realize this would be a different fight than the first, when he landed that right in the middle of the first round, or did you have your own observations?
Nikita, I can't say that. At some point I realized it wouldn't be the same fight, it would be something else. But this is truly a different fight. These are 2 different fighters, and it's been almost 3 years since their last fight, right? Since their last meeting. And they prepared. They were making different game plans, all of them. I mean, these were completely different people, I think. After all, 3 years is not a short amount of time.
Kairat, what did Merab improve compared to the first fight in grappling and striking, in your overall opinion?
He truly grew up as a fighter, I think. I really take my hat off to him. He's a top-notch athlete, a top-notch fighter. How many 14 wins, right, in a row for him, considering that 3 of them were title defenses and 4 were actual title fights. Imagine in the last year, how many has he had? He's fought 4 fights. He's only spent 20 rounds in the cage. Imagine, he's only spent 20 rounds in the cage. And against the strongest opponents, he defeated all the guys from his division. And he won quite confidently. Someone is even 45, 50, and here, well, what can you say? He's a cool athlete, definitely, a very cool one.
What did you tell the team after the first round? Sent it to them via messenger.
Well, can't recall it now, but I have the chat.
Something, yes, he did say something, some instructions. Honestly, right now, I truly can't recall what he said initially, specifically after the first round. That's a very interesting question indeed. Well, I just can't remember simply because he provided so much information, and I can't really say now what exactly he told us after that first round.
I felt ako, Kairat, when he got through at the first minute's end, held him, Petr was swatting his hands away, then he got through again, a 20-second grapple ensued, and in the second round he seemed to revert to his old self, started grappling again, but something changed at the end of the second round. I still don't understand what he wasn't landing as often, or Peter got tired. I couldn't figure that out. Can you explain what really began to shift in the second round?
Once again, you know, when you're watching an American broadcast, his cornermen were telling him, and they were asking him that Merab wasn't getting the job done, a single leg takedown attempt.
Yes, come in at 2 o'clock.
Yes, you need to go for a double leg, and you need to get behind him. Well, for instance, at the camp, we did some analysis and understood that if a wrestler's single leg takedown doesn't work, what does he do? He transitions to a double leg, or he tries some other developments. But Merab, he's not some guy from Dagestan who can, you know, like Sharipudin, a guy who just comes in, or we call it a devil's move. He comes in with such incredible speed, with such perfect timing that you don't even understand how he took you down.
He's already behind you. That's incredible. And Koban is there too. He shoots in, he shoots for the legs with such speed. I've never seen anyone in training shoot in with such speed.
And you know, he flies in so low, I don't even know what to compare it to. Imagine a carpet, right? He just goes so low over the carpet, you can't even meet him with a knee. You're even thinking how to throw your legs back so he doesn't just bulldoze you. So they were ready for Merab to adjust if his single leg takedown didn't work. And overall, I can't say it was a turning point because Merab fought to the very end. He was truly ready to die in that cage, and he went all the way. He showed himself to be a champion. That's really cool. But in the moment, you know, in a clash between a wrestler and a striker, it often happens that when your fight isn't going well, you start to get a little tired of it. That is, to explain it simply, take a master level boxer and put him with wrestlers, not for fights where he'd get injured, but just to grapple in a clinch, you know, work on leg techniques. Well, if you show him just some basic things and then let him work, after 25 minutes of such effort, he will become extremely tired, truly exhausted. And it's the very same situation. Take a skilled boxer and put him on a heavy bag. Oh, I mean a wrestler, and put him on a heavy bag. After 25 minutes, he'll also be extremely tired. He'll have given his all because, well, I can't say your body isn't ready for such work, since these are versatile athletes and their bodies are prepared for absolutely anything. But still, you're more specifically geared for your own work, and when your work isn't going well, you start to falter a bit.
I think so, but that's just my opinion.
Another thing surprised me, Kairat. In the first book,